The documentary film, Unearthed, the mystery of the Shaman Woman, has earned the grand prize at the 2024 Arkahios Film Festival. Here I am happy to share a look behind the scenes to learn more about the 9,000-year-old burial site of a shaman woman and about the making of this innovative and impactful film.
This film is a 9,000-year-old cold case that has been solved. That's the basic thing. So there's a burial that happened 9,000 years ago, and there, like oftentimes in archaeology, their bones were found. But what was found was one of the richest grave in Middle European area. But there's something more to it. But basically, that's what it is. It's like a murder mystery, a cold case that has been solved by really very ambitious scientists. First of all, why this story is so fascinating to so many people is the grave was found in 1934 when Germany was ruled by Nazi. In this time, this skeleton was interpreted as, in the ideology of the time, as the foremost Aryan, like the ancient Aryan that they really wanted to be German. Of course, Aryans are in Iran and in India and have dark skin, but the Germans wanted to be them pale and blonde. And so they said, oh, this is the missing link. This is our root. This is like the ancestor we are looking for. Turns out it's not a man, it's a female. They didn't recognize it because they didn't want to recognize it. Turns out this female had dark skin, like brown, like in Northern Africa. Yeah, that all was found out many years later in recent times. But so that's the fascinating spin of the story, that the Nazis were wrong. They were looking for a male Aryan, and what they got is a female with black or colored skin. So what the archaeologists did was they had an interdisciplinary approach to solving this mystery. And so what they did is they consulted archaeogenetics and also radiology. What they found is they had a very good, well-preserved skeleton, a skull that was really formidable. For example, what the radiologists found was that this woman in her vertebrae had a malformed bone that when she put her head back, this bone was hitting a nerve that influenced the eyes. And so she had like a very strange form of eye flickering that she could activate when she tilted her head. That's what they could find out about doing a scan of the skull. And the theory is that this helped her convincing the other people of being a very strong shaman, because whenever she performed some medical tasks on people with herbs or something like that, which she obviously could, she also put this feature on that made her eyes flicker. And so this gave her an aura of a very special person. This explains why, and there were like some 80 stone knives in the grave, and that was kind of the proof that she was not only a shaman for like a small group of people, but there may be like probably 200 people that were present at the burial. So you could say it was her responsibility to take care about not only one family or two families, but a larger community, which was very special 9,000 years ago. What is special in this film is that normally this is for primetime television. Mm-hmm. Normally you would have like the documentary parts, you would have the scientific parts, you would have like animation, but then you would cast actors to play these Stone Age people. In this case, we did something new. We learned about the technology that's called Unreal Engine, and this comes from the gaming industry. As you might have noticed, in the gaming industry, the characters, the landscapes, they are becoming more and more realistic in recent years, and that's due to this technology. So what this allows you is you can take any character and any landscape and build them like you want to build it in a very simple way. If you want to film some scenes take place in the Stone Age, in Germany, you would go to Finland, probably in the forests of Finland, because that probably looks a little bit like maybe the Stone Age have, but it's not right, you know? So what this technology allowed us was to create the landscape of Middle Germany in like 9,000 years before, with all the knowledge that the scientists had. But even more, they did a 3D scan of her skull, and then with forensic knowledge, recreated her face. And also they had the knowledge from the archaeogenetics that she had this lightly dark skin. We had a proper recreation of her face that we could map on a virtual character, and thus creating scenes that how life 9,000 years ago with and scenes where the shaman interacts with her community, how this went. And so this was really a first in German television. It's not perfect, but we're quite happy with it because it makes so much sense. You don't have an actress playing a shaman 9,000 years ago, but you have really a virtual actor that 90% sure looked like that in real life. And that's fascinating, I think. We didn't want to have the appearance of a computer game because that would be a little bit cheesy. But yeah, it's a difficult technology to handle for a film. There were long hours invested to find the right angles and things like that. But for a filmmaker, this is also like a dream come true because I could decide wherever the camera can be. It can be high in the tree, it can be in the earth, it can be above, it can be flying, it can be low, it can be. So this is really a great tool. Enjoy, and it's really enjoyable to play with it. You have to understand, I'm not an archaeology expert. I'm a filmmaker. I have no special field. When I'm giving a subject, I always think like, does it interest me? And this was from second one, I said, I want to do this film. And what I really learned and what really is fascinating is that this Mesolithic communities were different from the patterns we are living in, so to say. And the fascinating thing is, because they were still nomads, like in a way, they were still not settling down. They had their winter camps, summer camps, they were moving. What the archaeologists found out was, or know about these Mesolithic communities, there were no these roles like we know today between men and women. Women and men were on the same page. The women were also hunting. There was not the separation that women give birth to kids and then stay at home and cook, and the men were hunting and are men. So these communities were very equal, and the workload was equally shared, and they were nourished, very healthy, because they had berries, they had meat, they had herbs, they had like the kind of the perfect nutrition because it was all before carbs came into our lives, which of course was a big step in humanity, but also, yeah, not the best step for nutrition because of all the sugar in the carbohydrates. So these people, they were fit because they were walking around and hunting the whole day. You can really see it. So the scientists, they showed us a bone from a Mesolithic person and a bone from a Neolithic person, and it's just, they are stronger. They are really fit. They are, had a good nutrition. They were living, and also they found out that they only spent about 3 hours a day to get the amount of nutrition they needed. Of course, it was not like a holiday. I don't want to say that, but this sounds like not the worst time in human history. And this was what I really enjoyed finding out, because I didn't have a clue about it. For me, it was just Stone Age people, like, not part to what we are now. And now I think differently about this. If I could do a time travel, I would probably go to the Mesolithic. I wouldn't survive more than a week there, but I'd be happy to watch and be part of it. Well, of course, if there's one message in the film, it's this, that you have to understand that this burial, this finding is in the eastern part of Germany. And right now, the political landscape in this part of Germany is very determined through right-wing politics, through racism. And so what this film tells us is that 10,000, 9,000 years ago, all the people in this area had like dark skin. And today, if you're here if you're a colored people, if you're a colored person, you might get trouble. And so that's, for me, that's the message. We have to get over the judgment of people because of the color of their skin. And that's, of course, that's what most people take for granted. But it's, sadly, it's not happening everywhere and in the world. And so this was also a message that this old story brings across, that the Nazis were wrong. People had dark skin 9,000 years ago in a landscape where today most people are blonde and white skin, and yeah. So that's also a twist I like very much, because it's just shows that we are all the same. And this sounds like a cliche, but it is not, because for many people it's not like that. And that would be my message. We are all the same, and maybe even people living 9,000 years ago were better off in some ways than we are today.
Congratulations to everyone involved in the success of the documentary film Unearthed, the mystery of the Shaman Woman, winning the grand prize at the 2024 Arkahios Film Festival. I encourage for everyone to see this film. Relevant web links are in this video description. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.